My son's cancer diagnosis rocked my world. It pulled a curtain from over my eyes. And I don't want to get deeper into it, but I can tell you that I don't think that I had what you're talking about. I don't think I had context. And that was a sledgehammer to my reality. And I will never be carefree again in my life. And that's okay. It is a privilege for me to exist. And that pain, the fear, the suffering that comes with those sort of things is, I guess it's part of that beautiful, this life, it's, but if I wasn't clear, and I wasn't clear, and it's interesting because when it actually happened, I was going through, I think, a crisis, like really, like the crisis that you're talking about, I don't think I had my priorities straight. I mean, I always, my family was always a love of, I don't think I was a terrible guy, but dude, it was blinders, career, ambition. How do I become the baddest, biggest, best, more ego, more power, more money, more. And on Halloween, however many years ago that was, dude, it's like life was lived with like a curtain in front of me, like a filter. Mm-hmm. And the moment that they said, this is what's happening, that reality hit me. Filter gone. Filter gone. And I mean, in a moment, in one moment, gone. And I went, okay, this is it. This is life. This is it. This is what's important. And that's when, it's not like I thought about it. It didn't. There was no time to process it. It was, you have your priorities. This is what your priorities are. And this is what your priorities must be in order to be happy in your life. And it is.
I just can't imagine.
It's faith, family, and
a member of my family got diagnosed with a very similar illness. Mm-hmm. And I remember where I was and where I stood when I got that call. And again, I'd been running, just in my own little world, hadn't called them in a while.
Yeah.
Wasn't really in touch with them.
Yeah.
And then in that exact moment, it made me realize the true reason why I do what I do. Mm-hmm. Like
yeah.
And that my life should never have been so focused on self in such a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dude, I remember being at CHLA. I remember peeing in a stall. I know it sounds weird and it's not sexy, but I remember just sitting in the stall, standing there,
The children's hospital.
Yes, sir. And I remember closing my eyes and saying to myself, if we get out of this, I'm living a different life, a better life. And I did. I made that promise to myself in like a moment, I want to be kinder. I want to be more empathetic. I don't ever want to allow that ego and that false self to take over. I want to know how lucky I am. And dude, I'm a lucky man. Like I just look at my wife, like, it's like, how did that happen? How did I get, this incredible human being who's the best of all of us, to sort of lead me through and carry me through these things, Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking about, goes back to what I was saying about how I don't want life to show me my priorities, especially as it relates to my romantic relationships where, you can end up in divorce court or you lose something and then you think, fuck, what are all these gold coins worth?
No, but I had, dude, it's funny, we've all had those moments too. Like, listen, much younger, I had that moment where I was like, oh, dude, do you like you? Do you trust you? Do you respect you? And then I was like, if you don't,
Yeah.
and you're expecting that person to, or any person to, maybe you're asking too much. I hope we're allowed to look at ourselves in the mirror and, man, it's so easy to lie to other people, but it's even easier to lie to yourself. You know?
More harmful.
Dude, it's so easy. And it's like, I hope everybody has the chance to figure your way to do it. I don't know what it is or how you get there. If you need like medicine or mushrooms or whatever it is, but like to look in the mirror and to go, hey, these are the things that I think I suck at. You know, and I really do. I hope within us there's a opportunity for all of us to have that self-diagnosis and honesty and to go, yeah, I can do better than that. You know?
On this podcast, so many times I've spoken to parents about grief, but I've never really shone a light on just the trauma of going through moments like that, and really the like blast radius of knock-on effects to that person's life that it can have, implications to their mental health. Your son, Noah, is it Noah?
Yeah.
And you've got 4 wonderful kids, I hear.
Yeah.
Is doing great. 10 years old?
10 years old.
10 years old?
Yeah.
But for all the priorities and the curtain that it pulled back, is there still a healing process there that needs to have it happen that you typically see similar to grief, if you know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, because you already, I think any parent, I mean, I've had such great relationships with so many parents and people who have not just gone through this. I mean, listen, man, going through any kind of thing with, like, you know, you're not going to get away without it, man. I don't know if you have already, but.
I haven't had kids yet.
No,
so.
I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about your siblings or your mom and dad, or we all going to go. I mean, it's just a part of life. It takes a piece of us, you know, like my grandpa, man. I miss my grandpa every day, but that's life. That's a part of life. And I don't know that any of us even have the capacity to deal with it. I think it's why, obviously, we move to faith. You know, something feels good about hoping that there's something more.
But men in their mental health, we don't talk about these things.
No, dude, you must be soft. Don't be soft. And no crying.
I'm guilty of this more than anyone, especially as like a CEO, and I've been a CEO since I was 18 and I had hundreds of employees. So I felt like I couldn't flinch.
Yeah.
You know?
But can I ask you, because you are a brand now, man. Okay, I know you're a beautiful, nice guy, a human being, but dude, there's a brand. It's a brand. And I know you have people on your team, and I know you have a team that like, they come to you and say, we'd love you to do this. And your team goes, you can't do that. That is off-brand.
Yeah.
Are you able to, because you're in the wave, man. That tidal wave is moving, but you're inside it. You got all your people on top, and they can all kind of see. But how do you deal with it? Like, what do you do? Do you feel it? Do you think you're self-aware enough to know what the brand is, or how to protect it, or how to move it forward?
I think it comes back to this point about authenticity. You know when something is you and when it's in line with you, and you know when you're kind of abandoning yourself. There's some signal inside of me goes, hey, you know this isn't right. Especially if someone offers you a lot of money to do something. And you're
sure.
Oh God, I know that's not me. So fortunately,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say this shows a good example, which is a good question. Is what are the sponsors? The sponsors are companies that I are in line with my values. So.
Yes.
You know, my Woo, my Zoe, the products that I'm a shareholder in those companies. They're sponsor the podcast, and I'm in the team.
Yeah.
That's a good example of it. Whereas some brands aren't aligned. If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.